All right, so a couple days ago, Joe Biden gave a commencement speech at Howard University, a historically black college, and Fox News. Apparently, they had some problems with what Joe Biden said in this commencement speech. Here it is.
Well, we want to move to this morning as well. Joe Biden, the President of the United States, gave a commencement address yesterday at Howard University. He didn't talk about the border. He didn't talk about the threat of the Chinese Communist Party. He didn't even talk about the threat of Islamic terrorism. Instead, he said the...
Okay, all right. So before we watch the rest of the clip, I'm sorry, but he went to Howard University. And again, for those of you that don't know, and I encourage you just do a quick little Google search, Howard University is a huge, historically black college. And they invited Biden to do a commencement speech, and that's not uncommon. Obama, he gave a lot of, well, I don't know what people would deem a lot, but Obama, he gave commencement speeches at colleges. It is not uncommon for politicians, presidents, active presidents too, and past presidents to go and give commencement speeches at colleges. And I've actually watched a lot of Obama's speeches, a lot of his commencement speeches specifically because I had to watch them for school. And, you know, talking about like every single possible like political issue, that's not really what they're supposed to do there. I don't understand why he's saying he didn't talk about China. He didn't talk about the crisis that's not real at the southern border. And he most certainly did not talk about, I don't even know, Islamic terrorism. Just random bullshit that doesn't matter.
The biggest threat to our country is, in fact, the threat of white supremacy. Watch.
That's true.
A harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us. To stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did in my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Then that's true.
And I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU.
Also, if you guys notice, they totally cut that there. He did not say this. I'm not just saying this because I'm at Howard University, a historically black college. They totally took that quote out of context. They totally just like trying to make it seem like he said it together, but they didn't even cut it well.
I say it wherever I go.
That's right. He said that. And meanwhile, a record number of actual terrorists, as you talked about, suspects have been coming across our border.
Now, you guys heard what they said. They said Joe Biden, he's not talking about all the terrorists coming across the southern border. He's talking about white supremacists being the number one domestic threat to our country. And this is something that I love bringing this up. I love to bring it up to people that I talk to because it always, at least in my experience, it always blows them away. Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security, yes, Donald Trump himself, his Department of Homeland Security in 2020 released their Homeland Threat Assessment Report. And do you guys want to know what they said was the number one domestic threat to the country? White supremacists. They said among DVEs, which stands for domestic violent extremists, racially and ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically white supremacist extremists, will remain the most persistent and lethal threat to the homeland. And again, this was released in 2020 by Donald Trump's own Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security. So if Joe Biden if this is just a political strategy from Joe Biden, because that's what they're saying here, then what was it from Donald Trump? What was Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security saying that for? I guess that was a political strategy, right?
Take a look at this.
But they're not going to show you that. They're not going to bring that up. They're not going to mention that Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security literally said white supremacists are the number one domestic threat. They're not going to talk about that. They're just going to talk about Biden saying it.
Here. So we have in October through March, in 2022 alone, 98 people. Look at the increase.
Look at the one in the bottom right. That's 4 years combined. 8 total on the terror watch list encountered. These are the encounters, by the way, not the gotaways.
Now, this is the thing that they do here on Fox News, and a lot of conservatives do this. They're sitting here saying, these are the encounters, by the way. What they mean when they say encounters is these are literally people that encountered Border Patrol agents when they tried to cross. Notice that they are purposely not using statistics of actual people on the terror watch list. That is a real thing that the department, the Border Patrol has. Notice that they're using encountered at the southwest border. They're not showing you ones that actually are in the country. They're showing you encounters. Now, every single person that was encountered on this list could have been told to go back. They could have been told to turn back and go back the way that they came. That's a very, very, very strong possibility because, again, they're just showing you encounters. And I actually have these numbers pulled up here from the CBP. Excuse me. And these are the figures that they are referring to right here. We have this little table right here, and their numbers first of all aren't really right. But I think that the most interesting part about these statistics here is look at the number at the northern border. They don't even mention that. They don't mention how many people of all nationalities, and then so that's the thing. These statistics are really confusing. You can't just cherry pick them like Fox News is doing. You can't just cherry pick random statistics out of a table like this because it doesn't make sense. But they are purposefully leaving out so much vital information here. And again, these are encounters. These are just encounters with Border Patrol agents, okay? There is no proof that these people got into the country, which is what they're claiming here. But also, I tried looking for the years that they listed here. They list 2017 to 2020, but when I search for that here, it's not on there. I searched specifically for terrorist screening data, and I was trying to find data from 2017 to 2022. And again, this is all on this government website, and I couldn't find it. I could not find it. I searched for it on Google. I looked as hard as I can. There's only 3 pages of results here, and it's just not there. I don't know if these numbers that they are throwing up, I literally cannot confirm if these numbers on the screen right here are accurate. But I also found a really, really, really great fact check article from AP News that pretty much explains exactly what's going on here. And I thought that this was, pretty interesting. The claim, at least 98 people on the terrorist watch list, which you can see here, 98 people on the terrorist watch list. At least 98 people on the terrorist watch list have crossed the border into the U.S. in fiscal year 2022. AP's assessment, missing context, while the U.S. Border Patrol has reported 98 encounters with people on the U.S. government's terrorist watch list along the southwest border, those individuals were stopped by border agents and did not escape into the U.S. And you heard what Pete Hegseth, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. You heard what Pete said. And I'm going to rewind it really quick here because I think it's important. You guys heard what Pete said. Pete literally said, these aren't even the ones that got away.
Right. That's 4 years combined. 8 total on the terror watch list encountered. These are the encounters, by the way, not the gotaways.
Not the gotaways. But that's the thing. These are literally the ones that got told to turn back, okay? And again, we have this really, really, really nice. Several Republican elected officials have suggested in recent social media posts that almost 100 people on terrorist watch list have entered the U.S. along the southwest border, and it's just not true. Kevin McCarthy says this. All of the Republican politicians say this, and when you actually look at the facts and data, it is just so far from the fucking truth. It's Fox News, though, so I don't know what anyone would expect, but let's continue on here.
Exactly.
So far, 168. It's just listening to that speech, so divisive, so cynical.
It wasn't. If you thought anything out of his mouth was cynical or divisive or bad, I have concerns about you. I feel like you have some feelings deep down that I would never agree with, and I'm not going to agree with. Some deep racial prejudice. If you thought that anything, especially in those just very short clips, because it was a long speech, those short clips, if you thought any of that was divisive or bad in any way, shape, or form, I think I would have a problem with you.
plays into the conversation they want to be having about MAGA Republicans and threats to democracy.
Again, Donald Trump, MAGA himself's own Department of Homeland Security literally said white supremacists are the #1 domestic threat. So if MAGA said it, then who am I supposed to believe? You are MAGA. Fox News is MAGA. Okay, so
It's not grounded in actual threats.
yes, it is. According to Donald Trump himself, according to Donald Trump's own Department of Homeland Security. And yes, I am going to keep bringing this up, and I am going to keep saying it because I love it.
Or at least ones that
I mean, I don't think it's good, but
I just look at it and go, this is where we're at. And it's so demoralizing.
It's not.
how is it demoralizing? How? Explain. Explain how that is demoralizing. Demoralizing who? Demoralizing what? Demoralizing your racial prejudice? Your racist beliefs? Is that what you're talking about? They don't explain it. They never explain it.
True, and he doesn't believe it to be true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. It's never any pushback, no matter what, on Fox News. The hosts are just, at least on CNN, like Don Lemon and Caitlin Collins and Poppy Harlow, like they'll all be like, they'll like argue with each other. On Fox News, it's just yep.
You know, if he believed it to be true, we'd be talking about a level of incompetency that would be unmatched in the Oval Office, in the White House. If it were to be true, we'd be looking at a president that is totally ignorant of the threat of the Chinese Communist Party, Islamic terrorism, terrorists coming through the southern border.
You want to know what? I thought that, I think that that was really interesting what he just said there about Joe Biden and the threat of the Chinese Communist Party because, and many of you may or may not know this, but Joe Biden has only continued the very, very tough, grueling tariffs that Donald Trump put on China and has literally escalated the trade war that Donald Trump started with China immensely. But again, you you don't hear Fox News talk about that. When it comes to certain economic and trade policy, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are really, 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 really close together on that stuff. Again, you're not going to hear in all of these articles. I would encourage everyone to go and read all of these articles, especially I'm not a huge fan of Politico, but this is a really good Politico article. You're not going to hear Fox News talk about that. You're not going to hear them actually report on what we call facts.
We would be looking at a president so frivolous and ignorant that it would represent in and of itself a national security threat.
Yeah. Joe Biden is the national security threat for talking about white supremacists, but the former president who literally stole classified documents that he was not supposed to have, took them to Mar-a-Lago, his house, and would show them off and brag about them. He isn't a national security threat. The man who tried to overthrow a free and fair election. I'm having a really hard time speaking today. A free and fair election. Literally tried to overthrow the government. Literally told his supporters to come and fight. That's not a national security threat. But Joe Biden talking about white supremacy, off the fucking wall security threat. Awful. We need him out now.
But it's not true. And
No.
he doesn't believe it's true. It's
It
a
is, he
pander.
does.
And it is a naked and shameless and an embarrassing pander that he has to put a punctuation mark up.
They don't even have a criticism of it. Like, he's not saying anything at all. It's a pander. Pander to who? Pander to what, Pete? I'm assuming that's who's talking here. I don't even know. Who? Who is Joe Biden pandering to? I guess the woke mob, right? I mean, again, they never explain it, but...
And I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here in HBCU. Yes, you are. And you know what we could do? We could roll the tape of Joe Biden throughout his career as a politician and all of the racist statements that he has made.
Okay, do it. Do it. Do it. I'll watch it. I don't care. If somebody does some fucked up shit and I think it's fucked up, I will call them out. I don't care if they're on my side, a lefty or whatever. And I've done that on this channel. Play the fucking clip. Roll the tape. I'm ready. I don't care.
Not subjective. Objectively racist statements he has made
Play the
throughout his
tape.
career and say,
Play the
this
tape.
is your
If you
knight
really
in
have
shining
it.
armor. This is your man to take down white supremacy. He's pandering And if it can't be seen, you're blind.
Yep.
Well, it's also
I do think that you know, certain parts of Joe Biden's past you can look at and say, hey, Joe Biden used to be racist. I do think that there is a case that you could make there. I don't think Fox News would ever make that case. They're not going to make that case. And also, you know, they say we could roll the tape of all of the objectively racist things that he said. I honestly think it would probably be better to look at policy he has supported that plays into racial discrimination against groups like Latinos and Black people versus objectively racist statements. I really don't know what. I mean, at least not off the top of my head, objectively racist things that Joe Biden has said. You know what? I could be wrong.
it's a political.
But if they have it, they should just play it. I don't know why they're making it an empty threat, like Biden's gonna like fall to his knees at the mercy of Fox News. Oh God, please don't release the video, please, please. It's so goofy.
Strategy. And we had on this guy named Gene from America First Legal, who uncovered that our
We had some guy on, some random dude from the Sting. I don't even know who he was.
you know, federal law enforcement is actually going after these supposed white supremacists, and they had these ridiculous.
They say it like it's not real. Supposed white supremacists, they're real. They're very much real, and I actually have a clip here that YouTube doesn't like some of the topics I like to cover, and this clip might get me in trouble. There's nothing actually bad in it, but there very much are white supremacists in this country, and I will show you guys a very recent clip of a literal white supremacist group marching toward the Capitol. These people are a part of a white supremacist group, and if you guys notice, all of these pussies have masks on, sunglasses, and hats because they are afraid to reveal their identity. I wonder why. This was a couple days ago. You can tell they're real patriots because they have American flags, but they're upside down. Every single one of these motherfuckers is wearing a mask. Clowns, completely. And this is just a clip of them walking. I can't really. It was very recent. That's the main reason why I played it, because I don't even know this female host's name, to be completely honest. But she's sitting there saying the supposed white supremacist. What do you mean supposed? Like they're not real. Like it's like the boogeyman. They're real. They're very much real. You're just choosing again not to accept the facts and not to live in reality. And you know. That's cool, I guess.
Ridiculous, comical profiles.
But I'm gonna
of
laugh
pro-life
at you.
Moms and conservative dads, in rural America, and meanwhile we have this list of 168 terrorists coming across our.
It's so weird how they conflate all of supposed Republican values to white supremacy. They made that comparison. I didn't make that comparison. They made that comparison. She herself just made that comparison. She said pro-life moms, conservative dads, they're being attacked by law enforcement. Why? Why would you yourself sit there and compare all of the pretty common conservative values and beliefs and equate them with white supremacy if white supremacy is not a real threat, if it's not real, if they don't exist? Curious about that one, 100%.
Our border in just the last few months. So that's crazy, but it's so, I'm going to just say it, I think it's evil. It's evil to take a country as good as ours, a country that really, if you look at people's everyday interactions with people of other races and cultures here in America, they're by and large 99.9% peaceful, loving. People want to live in America the way Martin Luther King had it, where we don't see color, we look at people's character.
I don't know what, I'm sorry. This woman is by and large pulling completely random bullshit statistics out of her ass. I don't know what the fuck she just said. The most stupid word salad I've ever heard, probably in my life, in all of these videos I've ever made. I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. She said it was evil and 99.9% of people's interactions with other races are nice. And she said, you take a country as great as ours. Guess what? Guess what? This person's white. Everyone on this panel is white, as you can see by their white skin. You know, groups like black people and also other minority marginalized groups, they have not lived historically in an America that is nice to them. I don't need to sit here and list off every single part of society that black people have faced discrimination in or against, because it's literally, at one point it was, especially, and it still is today, unfortunately, every single facet of our society. This country was built on fucking racist values. All of the founding fathers were racist. I'm sorry, but it's true. With the exception of like one or two of them, they were all awful fucking people. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. I mean, I'm not sorry, but it's just, I can't listen to stupid, but for only so long. And this lady, they're all dumb, but she takes the cake today. She gets the award for dumbest motherfucker of the day.
That's who we are, and yet for political...
That's who we are, again, yes. Yes, if you're white, you get to live a very nice, very cushy, very, very privileged life in this country. And if you're not white, America pretty much tells you to go fuck yourself. And I'm being serious. I don't want this stuff to exist, but it does exist. And for these people to sit there and fucking say that it's not real, racism doesn't exist in America, number one, fuck you. Number two, I will never take you seriously, ever. Even as a human being, I will always look at you and laugh at you. I just don't get it. How can these people live their lives like this? That money, the money that they get paid to do this stuff, must really, really, really be so much better to them than being a decent person that has any type of morals. Because I couldn't even imagine. I really just can't. It's so hard for me to.
Because he has failed so much as a president and taken our country so down. He understands the only way he could win is to convince some pretty dumb college kids at that university if they believe him.
Well, what a disservice.
It's a disservice. If they believe that...
No, this is a disservice. This is a disservice to the country. This is a disservice to journalism, especially. This is most definitely a disservice to journalism. This is a disservice to news reporting in general. Fox News is a literal disgrace. This is literally a dumpster fire. These people are saying some of the most dumb shit I have ever heard in my life. And I probably throw terms out like that out there a lot, but I watched this clip before and I couldn't believe how bad it was, because I read the short transcript Media Matters wrote for it, and I was just like, I can't. I have to listen to it.
Full of white supremacists, and that's our number one threat. But look, you saw in 2020, Pete, during those riots, a lot of people could be convinced that this is a racist country.
It is. Oh my God. What do you mean? We don't need convincing. It's a fact. You don't convince someone. You convince somebody to agree with your opinion. Facts are facts. If you don't agree with a fact, if you are trying to convince someone to agree with a fact, then what that's called is that person is wrong. It is a fact that America is racist. It's not an opinion. I don't care what this stupid motherfucker says. It's not what it is. I know they know the difference between facts and opinions. I know that.
That's being taught at that university and at university.
Yeah, they're teaching about racism at a university, at a black college. What the fuck? They're teaching about racism? Are you kidding me? Disgusting.
Universities across America, so that statement is not surprising to the ears of those kids or to the ears of most college kids across America. They've been programmed to believe that is true, most of which have never left the country, never seen real... You want to see real racism? Travel the world. Travel.
I know he didn't just say that. Pete, buddy, you're white. You're white as fuck, man. I know that he did not just say that. I know he didn't. Pete, buddy, come the fuck on. What the fuck? I mean, we know, we know. Well, I mean, we clearly now we know why these people are fighting so hard against Joe Biden's white supremacist claims, because apparently they're white supremacists.
For the world outside of our borders, we have our sins of our past and things we've had to get through in this country. There's no doubt.
No, really, because you guys are kind of casting a huge shadow of doubt about a lot of that stuff, especially from everything that I've heard you guys say so far. So, yeah, miss me with that stupid shit.
But man, when you look at the way Americans live together in everyday life, ignoring the issue of race, it's a special thing, and they're trying to ruin that.
Buddy, again, I can't go through it every single time. I just can't. I would never stop talking, but it's just like me showing you guys the statistics on employees at huge banks. White people are way more likely to get higher level jobs at all of the major banks in the country, and black and Latino folk are way more likely to stay and get entry level jobs than their white colleagues are because of their skin color. That is one small subsection of our society that has racism interlaced into it, because that is America. America is fucking racist. Again, it's not an opinion. It's not up for debate. It's not a, well, I think, we have our past sins that, we had to pay for, but, now everything's fine and dandy. You're fucking stupid. You're literally an idiot.
No question about it.
No question about it. That was the end of the clip. That was all for Fox News. I know that this one is really, really long. It says 27 minutes down there about right now, but that's going to be it for the video. If you guys like the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, press that little bell, and turn on all notifications so you guys never miss an upload. And I saw some people asking about this. Maybe I should have addressed this at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to address it now. I saw some people commenting on a community post I made that I've been having problems uploading content here, and some people were asking me if it was YouTube doing their thing, or if it was people reporting my videos. So far, I have not had any issues with people reporting my videos. I've gotten really lucky there because I honestly just react to a lot of clips here. But YouTube, I don't know why, but I feel like they unfairly pick on me a lot of the time, because I will literally see other channels cover stuff, and then I will go cover it, use the exact same content they used, and YouTube will tell me that it's violating their community guidelines when other people have done it. And I've already gotten 2 community strikes in the past before. One is a warning that never goes away, and then I got another one last year in November, and ever since then, I have been on thin ice, okay? YouTube has taken videos of mine down without giving me another community guideline strike, which I've been really, 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 really lucky about that. Because if I get another community guideline strike, I won't be able to upload for a week, and it also affects my channel in many other different ways. It doesn't go away for 90 days if I get another one. So I have to be really, really careful. If YouTube says it violates their guidelines, unfortunately, I just have to take the video down. They don't really review stuff. They just kind of, if they think it violates their guidelines and you press review, they're not gonna watch it. But that's going to be it for the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, press that bell. I'll see you tomorrow.